Ah, hello, Steph here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things acting because, yes, I'm an actor. So, before we start, it is a little hot today. It is very hot actually, and it is very windy as well. So I'm not going to be doing my usual jumping around, moving thing. I'm just gonna stay here. So I am doing a new thing where I am just answering questions from my comments. This is comments both on YouTube and on Instagram and Twitter and any sort of social media platform actually. You know, you guys just ask questions, things that you want answers to, and then we get right into it. And then I sit down at some point during the week and I just answer them, which I think is kind of nice. Great, so our question today comes from TK. TK is one of my number one fans, I think. Commenting on all of my stuff, always lovely. Saw him in person the other day. He's just a lovely human being. He asked the question related to hair, piercings, etc., dramatic changes to your look post pre casting. So in order to answer this question, I'm going to break it down into two sections. The first section is, should you get tattoos and piercings as an actor? And then the second section around dramatic changes to your look post casting, post book the job. I think I will answer that on my Instagram actually. I think it's a lot more informal there, and it's just a quick little answer. Steph here. So I was editing the video and then it felt kind of weird not to include the second half or the answer to the second half of TK's question, so I thought I'd just include it now. So the second half went around dramatic changes to your look post casting. So the short answer to it is no, you shouldn't change your look dramatically at all. If you have been first optioned, if you have been booked, or if you are going to a callback even, you shouldn't change your look at all. You should stick to what they cast you as or cast you in. Your hair, this is to do with any sort of tattoos even. Specifically don't get tattoos within that period of time. If you are needing to change your hair for another role, let's say that one's shooting first and then this one is, it happens all the time, you get like your bookings overlap, then you just need to run it by them. Obviously, I work on a system of first come, first serve. And if this one booked me first, then they will have the option. Then I always stick to what they need. Then the other company or the secondary one will have to change, will have to adapt to what is needed. Yeah, so you can just work on a first come, first serve basis, but the general consensus is do not change anything between being cast and being booked, and then on the day. I actually have a little story. I was once on an ad and there was an extra there who had curly hair in the casting and then on the day had straight hair. And then they had to curl the hair. So it's just a little thing that people don't really think about. And especially if this is not your world, if you are not someone who goes to regular castings or understands sort of the ins or the nuances of everything, it's something very difficult to pick up on. Generally, you want to stay the same. You just want to be that, how they cast you as. So stay the same. Cool, back to you, Steph. So the first thing that we need to understand here when it comes to should you get tattoos as an actor is we need to look a little bit back in history and how things worked back then. So the models or the celebrities back then were seen as very clean cut, these little beings from heaven, these perfectly sculpted people with no blemishes, with no tattoos, no piercings, no scars, nothing, absolutely just this perfect thing with straight teeth and this sort of aesthetic that was unattainable by the general public. You know, we've very much placed those people on a pedestal, celebrities, models, everyone that was sort of in the public eye was placed on this massive, massive pedestal. And that's how the media worked back then. They were perfect. There was no hair anywhere there shouldn't be hair. Everything was perfectly tweezed. And then there's today. So today, everything is different. It is completely different today. We are a lot more inclusive. We are a lot more representative. We are also a lot more accepting of tattoos and piercings. And because we, as the consumers, are becoming a lot more acceptable of these things, we want to see these things in media. We do. We want to see piercings. We want to see tattoos. We want there to be a representation of who we are. And that is the shift that has happened already. It's not happening. It has happened. And for that reason, I think the short answer to the question is yes. Yes, you should. You can get a tattoo. Definitely, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo and you're an actor, I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo now because I want to. I want to get a tattoo, but I had this debate with myself and going, should I get one as an actor? Will this limit my roles or anything? And then I thought about it some more and I was like, well, not really. It won't limit my roles really. But before I get into that, I think that there are 4 things that you need to keep in mind if you have a tattoo or if you're thinking about getting a tattoo. The first thing that you need to keep in mind is to be honest. Okay? If they ask you directly about it, you need to tell them that you have a tattoo. You don't need to tell them of a tattoo that is on a very private area of your body. Unless, of course, you are doing a bikini shoot or some kind of ad where this will be exposed, where that part of your body will be exposed, then you need to be honest about it. The other side of this is that should you tell them regardless if they don't ask you? No, you don't need to tell them. If you have a tattoo on your shoulder and you're going to the casting in a top like this, that covers it, that's fine. But if you get cast in it, so let's say you've got the part, you've been confirmed, and now you are at the wardrobe call. You need to tell them, especially if the makeup person is there already, you need to tell them that you have a tattoo. This is so that they can prep for it. Today we have all sorts of cover-up. It's available everywhere, so they just need to know to bring it with them. They can do a test there to test if they need to buy a stronger one, what type of skin color you have, your skin tone, all of that. They can do a test there so that on the day, they don't get surprised. We know that things change all the time, so that on the day when they get there, you know, they don't go suddenly, oh, we want to fly the top, we actually want to give them a vest. And then they give you a vest and suddenly you've got a big lion just like crawling out there. So it just gives them the opportunity to prep for it. So just be honest about it. You know, you can use your own discretion when it comes to which area of the body it's on, but just be honest. If they ask you directly and you feel that this will be shown or will be seen, then disclose it so that they can prep for it. Okay, the next thing is to be accommodating. Okay, so you need to be accommodating of the agency you're working with. If you have been cast, if everything has been booked, and they ask you, please, sir, madam, we would like you to cover up your tattoo for this part, you need to say yes. You know, say yes. Say if you've got tattoos on your hands or somewhere visible, like it's poking through the shirt over here, you need to be almost flexible enough to cover it up. You know, there's no sort of, oh no, it's part of my identity, it's part of me, it's my expression. If the character or the ad is not gearing towards, you know, that representation and they ask you to cover it up, just say yes. You know, you can, after the fact, take it off again and go on with your life. But you need to be accommodating. Another thing to keep in mind is to be sensitive. Okay, so what I mean here is to be sensitive to the subject material that you have on your tattoos. This is if you've got a cuss word somewhere, if you've got a swear word somewhere, or you have something that is promoting some form of violence or drugs, you need to be sensitive towards that. This is because if you are put in an ad, be it as a model or as an actor, you need to understand that this is going to be shared with a mainstream audience. And a mainstream audience might not be part of that sort of representation that the tattoo is portraying, or that sort of feeling that it's giving off. This is also the same when it comes to tattoos on your face. You need to understand that if you get there with a tattoo on your face, it is saying something very specific about who you are and who this character or person you are portraying is going to be. You know, a doctor, if you are a doctor, is not going to have a face tattoo unless it's some sort of weird sci-fi spin-off movie thing with hardcore aggressive doctors. But you see exactly what I did there. I judged it. So I, just based off of perception and stereotyping, I have placed face tattoos in this realm of aggression. And you know, that's what the general public is also going to do. They're going to make certain associations with it. And you might be the sweetest, most lovable person on the planet, but the face tattoo says something different to the general public. So you got to be sensitive when it comes to the placement of tattoos and what sort of tattoos you end up getting. And the final tip is to be yourself. Guys, we are in 2020. There is a ton of representation going around. There is a ton of inclusiveness going around. And you need to just be yourself. If you are the person who rocks tattoos, then rock it. Go to your casting with your tattoos, flaring out. Don't even cover it up when you're doing a photo shoot. If you get your headshots done and there's a little tattoo sticking out here, or there's a tattoo on your arm, show it off. Be yourself. At the end of the day, that's what'll win people over, is how comfortable you are in your own skin. So the same thing that I said here to these 4 things for tattoos can apply to piercings as well. But piercings are a little bit different since they are trickier to cover up, especially if they are on the face. A nose ring, I think, is a little bit easier to cover up since you can take it off. I myself do have piercings in my ears and they have never been a problem. I don't wear my earrings anymore. The holes are still open, but you can never see them. Like, never see them at all. Eyebrow piercings, it is a little bit tricky and it does say something very specific again. The general perception of how people perceive people with eyebrow piercing, it says something about you. It says something about the character. It says something about the situations that you find yourself in. That's something that maybe you could think about taking out for a casting. I'm not too sure how the holes look, but I would definitely, if the role does not require or does not speak or does not emulate this type of lifestyle, then I would take it out. And that actually brings me on to my next point is, should you cover up tattoos for castings? Yes and no. So if the casting is an open call and there's nothing very specific about it, no, don't cover it up. If the character is just an everyday person, there's no need to cover it up. If the character is very specific or the time period that you find yourself in is very specific, then I would suggest covering it up, because as we all know, the people who make the decisions in the end tend to not have the best imaginations out there. So you need to give them and yourself every possible opportunity, every possible advantage. Let's say you are going to a audition that is taking place in the Victorian era. They don't have tattoos. They don't have piercings there. They don't have modern day piercings. They're not as open to it back then. Maybe you're going to play a conservative person. Then you need to cover up your tattoos. And it is very easy to cover up tattoos these days. I will leave links in the description to videos that you guys can check out about how to cover up tattoos. And I mean, these things you can buy over the counter, which is phenomenal. And if you're going to a casting and you feel like this is not representative of the character or the situation that your role is going to find themselves in, then just cover it up. And if they ask you, do you have any tattoos? You say yes. And then you show them, hey, I've covered it up on my arm or something like that. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, just be yourself. That's it. I hope you guys liked this style of video. Very much relaxed, and me just sipping my tea here on the floor. Yeah, and if you have any questions or anything really related to acting, please just leave a comment below. Follow me on Instagram. I am every day on the platform, so I will answer questions immediately. If you comment on a picture or one of my videos, I will almost immediately respond to it. Yeah, so yeah, I will see you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend.